Prepare yourself for a talk radio experience like no other.
Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Call Alex now, toll free, at 877-590-5525. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is October 12th, 2008. We're going to be live here for the next 2 hours. Coming up in the next hour, attorney Phil Berg, prominent lawyer. He is going to be joining us. He has been trying to force the federal government, which they would normally do for any other candidate, to release the birth certificate of Barack Obama and other accompanying documents, passport information, to prove that he was actually eligible to be a presidential candidate and president. For those that don't know, there's questions with both men. John McCain, of course, was born in the Panama Canal zone, but when he was born there, that area was controlled by the United States. It was controlled by the United States until 2000. But he had to be on a U.S. military base, and he lied and said that he was born on a base that was not open or built until about a year after he was born. So it's clear that John McCain is not eligible. But as bad as that is, Barack Obama is even less eligible. It's even more clear. And the campaign could have easily released this information. Now, we don't have a dog in this fight. Both candidates are bought and paid for by the New World Order, by the global corporate system that we're going to be talking about today that's engineering the economic collapse. The point is that this is going to be a very serious issue, and if Barack Obama wins, which is looking like he's going to win, he's 7 to 10 points ahead in almost every poll, then this is a way to discredit him later by other governments or people in our own country, and certainly a way to blackmail him and control him. So he's very, very, very compromised. And if he isn't compromised there enough, it's all the connections to the PLO, the People's Liberation Organization, Palestinian Liberation Organization, connected to the Weathermen, of course, and many, many others. So quite a sordid past there with Barack H. Obama. Talking with Phil Berg coming up in about 55 minutes from now. What I wanted to get into in the first hour and in the latter part of the next hour as well, I'm not going to spend all day on this Obama thing, is the economy. Now, if you go to prisonplanet.com, one of my flagship websites, Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com are my two major sites. I have several others. You can go over on the right-hand side in the News in Focus area, and you can read a story that Paul Joseph Watson, one of my writers, put together earlier this week, titled, "You Saw It Here First. Economic Crash, Bankers Stick-Up Predicted Long Ago." And you can read articles that we wrote 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, detailing not just the current economic implosion, but predicting it would be in 2008, early 2009, predicting it would start with derivatives, and that's these securities where they take credit card debt, bundle it together, sell it as a asset, AAA rated as solid gold when it's total garbage. When they take home loans, mortgages, and bundle them, when they take credit card debt, bundle it and sell it. But that's only one small area of derivatives. There are hundreds of different types, and then there are derivatives on derivatives and different indexes and things that make Las Vegas look as pure as the driven snow compared to this level of gambling and corruption. But I want you to go there and watch the video clips, the radio clips, the scores of articles we wrote, the congressmen we had on, the Nobel Prize winners. We had 2 on for economics, Stiglitz and one other, all the other top experts saying years ago this was in the works, and the IMF and World Bank were fully aware of it and actually orchestrating it and allowing it to take place to cause a worldwide implosion where they then hold the country's ransom to pay unlimited amounts, trillions of dollars into the coffers of the very banks that put out these derivatives. So go there. You saw it here first. Economic crash, banker stick-up predicted long ago. I mean, there's lots of people that talk out there, but we don't just talk. We give you the evidence, the facts. I told you almost 3 years ago we covered Bilderberg Group. We were able to get moles inside to get us documentation. I was actually even arrested trying to cover it. and detained. And we came out on air, and I came out on this show and many other radio shows, other people's radio shows, and said the bankers have decided to implode the derivatives market starting with the subprime mortgages in 2008. And it's all come true. So the point is, if you're not paying attention to this radio show, if you haven't paid attention to the things we claim and the things we say, we put our money where our mouth is. And as John Wayne said, it's no bragging, it's just fact. In fact, I'm very, very upset that I am right. It's very upsetting to know that this is unfolding and leading towards a worldwide depression within 2 years. We said the start would be in 2008 and it would deepen into 2010. Our experts said that. And, of course, all the real experts know what's going on. The talking heads they put on national TV, those are the liars that keep you in the false political paradigm. So you saw it here first, economic crash, banker stick-up predicted long ago. There's a lot of different facets to this, but here's the bottom line. The very inner sanctum of the New World Order, a select group of families, less than 20, that own the central banks of the world, the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, the Bundesbank, they are all private. And they put into their international holding company, IMF and World Bank, funds to go loan third world nations, funds they created out of nowhere. But they tie those fiat funds, those confetti funds, like monopoly money, to real assets like your 401k, the stock market, pension funds, and they have leveraged your savings, the money that you have in the stock market and other investments into all of this. And so now all the thousands of trillions of real investments have now been tied into the thousands of trillions of Ponzi scheme investments. Now, 5 years ago, we really started ringing the alarm bell here when institutional investors, billionaires, people in control of trillions, leverage into trillions, started moving quietly out of derivatives, started moving into safer assets, into commodities, into infrastructure, into media, into research, into mines and shipyards and ship companies and grain, food. And we saw that they were openly discussing in policy reports the fact that derivatives were going to blow up and that they were going to allow them to blow up by cutting off the banking funds to further derivative-type investments. And about 2 years ago, they fully turned the spigot off, and now 2 years later, you're seeing the effects of that. Now, they are still turning the spigot off to Main Street, to Sally Soccer Mom and Joe Sixpack, to companies, to the real economy, to GM and Ford. They are turning the spigot off to that, while terrorizing the public, saying if you don't guarantee government-backed liquidity of over $5 trillion, that's what Bloomberg and AP and others reported accurately, is really in the banker bailout bill. We're now every day hearing about the new powers that are in there that we told you about weeks ago. Now the media is announcing them to you piecemeal, saying, oh, they have unlimited power, they have dictatorial power, to now take your money, which they're telling you is to get Main Street going, and to inject it directly into their coffers. And it's not bad enough to have the conflict of interest, the insider trading, the man who helped change the rules, lobby to have the rules changed to allow this to happen, the current head of the Treasury, Paulson, to have him be the former head of Goldman Sachs just a year and a half ago. Then he goes to Mr. Kashkari, his gopher, his assistant, his minion, one of many vice presidents there who's always at his side. This is his assistant, his minion, to hand out the $5 trillion. Yeah, forget $700 billion, $851 billion, forget $1 trillion. Now the news is admitting $2 trillion. It's $5 trillion conservatively. Some market analysts are saying that they could really get $10 trillion out of this. To give you an idea, the defense budget, the biggest ever, was $1 trillion this year. The defense budget they just passed for next year. To give you an idea, the entire GDP is around $3 trillion of this country. $10 trillion, but let's just say it's $5 trillion. They now take that money, put it into their coffers, then they implode the economy and use the money they've transferred from us to come in and buy up homes, farms, ranches, companies, to make GM hand itself over to Chrysler, which is owned by European central banks. So this is a military operation. It's why the bankers are in control. The bankers, quote, make their money when they destroy assets and call in the loan. They're calling in the loan on the U.S. It's an inside job set up. We'll tell you about it when we get back. Stay with us.